Hello and welcome to CipherSuite Tech. I'm your host CipherSuite, and today we're going to learn how to copy, move and delete files in Linux. We're using Ubuntu in this tutorial, but it's going to work just fine for pretty much any Linux distribution, so don't worry if you're using something like Mint or something else. If you enjoy this video, please remember to subscribe for more content and give it a like. It really helps out the channel. Now without further ado, let's get started. So first we're going to learn how to copy files. So copying files, use the cp command for copy. So first we need to specify the file we want to copy. So first let's see what's in the folder. Got nothing there. So I'm going to create a folder. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll show you this way first. File1.txt. ls, we got our file there. So if I open it up, and we'll just say file1. There we go. It says file1. Great. So that's the content of the file. So if we want to copy the file from one place to another, we say cp, the file that we want to copy, and then the location we want to copy it to. So I'm going to copy it to the same folder. Let's copy it to a different folder. So I'm going to create a folder called folder1. That'll do. ls, you can see it there. Now if I say cp file1 and I want to put it in folder1. Okay. No response, but that's fine. So if we say ls, we've still got file1 there. If we say cd folder1 ls, we can see the files there. So I'll remove that. Okay, so let's say we want to copy it to a different location and we want to call it something else. So for that, we again say cp file1, we want to put it in some other folder and we'll call it copied file1.txt. ls, nothing's moved from the folder we are in. If we go over to folder1 and ls in that, we can see copied file, and just to make sure it's really there, file1, yep, cat is just concatenate to get the contents out. So we'll get rid of that one again. Clear the screen and start again. So that's how you copy one file. So what about if you've got multiple files? So if I say, I'm just going to create another file. We'll say file2. That's earlier I showed you touch, that's create a file, but you can also echo some text and use the right arrow to redirect it to a file. So if I say cat file2, you can say it's file2, the text that we echoed. So let's do ls to see what's in the folder again, remind ourselves. And we've got file1.txt and file2.txt. So if we want to move both those files into folder1, we can say cp, like we did before, and we can go file1.txt, and then we could just say file2.txt. Then we specify the destination. So you might be thinking, I've specified 2 files here and the folder, so that's like 3 parameters, but before it was only 2 parameters, a source and destination. So the way CP works is that you can specify as many sources as you like, and the last one will be the destination. So we could put 100 individual files here if we wanted to, and as long as we put the destination as the last one, it will copy them to that location. So let's hit enter, and we'll cd into folder1. Do an ls, and there we go, copied our files. And I'll just remove these. We'll do it a simple way first, and I'll show you how to remove files in other ways later on. Okay, so what if we want to copy a file that's in a different location? So I've shown you how to copy a file that's in your current directory that you're currently in. What if you're somewhere else? So if we go back into folder 1, ls, there's nothing in there. So we know that file1.txt is on the level above, but let's assume it's someplace else. So I know it's in home, CipherSuite, demo1, and the file name is file1, if I can spell, .txt. So I'm going to copy that into the current directory, and I'm not going to specify any new file name, just say dot to an ls, and we've got file1 in our current directory. So let's do that again. So what if your current directory isn't the source or destination? You're in your home directory, for example, and you've got a file in folder 1 and you want to put it into folder 2. So that is very easy, just like in the example above where I specified the source destination with an absolute full path, and the destination is just dot, meaning the current directory. I can just specify the full path. So let's create another folder. Let's make it in here. mkdir sub1 for subfolder 1. So it's the only folder in this folder. There's no content in this folder. So let's go press up to go back. So now we're going to copy file1, and we're not going to copy it to the current directory. We're going to copy it to subfolder 1 or sub1. And I'm just going to show you how it works with a folder if it was somewhere other than in your current directory. So I'm just going to assume it's on some remote drive somewhere, it doesn't matter. For the purpose of this demo, we'll just use our imagination for that. So demo1, and what do we call the folder? Folder 1, sub1. There we go. So again, we've got our subfolder 1 with nothing at the folder 1 level. And if we cd into sub1 and ls, we've got our file 1 again. Okay, so let's delete that. Let's clear this, tidy us up. So we've got file 1 and file 2 in folder 1, and we've shown how to do multiple files into a folder. But what if you've got loads of files and you just want to copy all the txt files, for example, something that ends in txt into folder 1. So that's very easy as well. cp star.txt, and then we just put the destination of folder 1, or wherever you want to put it. There we go, nice and easy. Okay, so now we're going to see how to copy a file that's in a nested directory, and you want to copy over that file and its intermediary directories to a destination. So what have we got? We've got folder 1. So I'm going to just copy file 1 into folder 1. Going to cd into folder 1, and I must have copied these earlier. So I'm going to create a folder called sub1 and copy all the txt. I was going to hesitate not showing you the move, but I'll do that quickly now. You know what, just so I don't jump ahead, I'm going to do it in the UI. And I'll show you the way to do it on the command line before. I just don't want to give you too many command line things to remember first. And we'll say subdo. Okay, there we go. So just so you can visualize it up here, we've got demo1, folder1, sub1, sub2, and then we've got our stuff. So we want to copy file 1 and 2 out of there into, let's just say folder 2. Okay, so let's go up a level, clear everything, say cp folder 1, sub 1, sub 2, star.txt. Okay, and we want to put that in folder 2. So this isn't going to work. It's not going to complain. It just puts the files directly in folder 2 because that's what we told it to do, right? Okay, if we want to copy files that are nested in a directory structure and you want to copy the file and the directory structure, then you go mkdir p for parents and you specify the folder you want to create. So for that, we're going to do folder, I'm going to do that and just change that to folder 2. And now we can cp into it. So cp folder 1 star.txt to folder 2. All right. There we go. It's all there. Okay, so that's enough copying. Let's do a little bit of tidying up here. Okay, get rid of those. Now, so that's everything you need to know about copying files. There's not much to it. It takes a little bit of practice. You saw me mess up a couple times there because I made a massive typo. So now we're going to move on to moving files. To move files, it's very similar to copying files in terms of the commands you type in, the parameters, the structure, and so on. The only difference is you're moving a file, not copying it. So let's do a demonstration here. So let's create a folder called folder1, and we want to move abc.txt into the folder. So mv abc.txt folder1 go. And we've LS'd, and there it is. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably should have moved it back, but never mind. ABC. There we go. So we show our file back now. So that's moving a file into a folder and keeping the same name, but just like copy, we can change the name if we want. So ABC to folder1, and I'm going to call it ABC copy.txt. There we go, it's there as before. So how about moving multiple files? So we've got file 1 and file 2, and just like before, we could say mv for move, file1.txt, and we specify file2.txt, and then the destination. So when you specify multiple files, you of course can't specify a single file name because that doesn't make sense if you want to change the file name to something else. So we'll do that. And then cd into the folder, ls, and there we go. Let's clear that up. Just going to echo a few files out again. So we got something to play with. Okay, so if we want to move anything that starts with a couple letters, so FI star, then we specify the destination just like before, and we ls. We've only got abc.txt in there. If we cd into folder 1 and do an ls, we've got our file1 and file2.txt. Brilliant. Okay, so that's pretty much everything you need to know about moving files. If you've learned how to copy files, pretty much everything you can do with copy, you can also do with move. I didn't actually show you renaming a file, actually. That's in the same way as when you can copy a file and change its name, you can do the same thing with moving, except you can, it's just going to rename the file. So we'll stay in this folder. We've got file1 and file2.txt, and if I want to change the name of file1 to something else.txt, can I spell? Yeah, that's how you spell it. Do that. ls, file1 is gone, but something else.txt is there. And just to prove that that's what it is, we'll cat file1, cool. And we'll move it back, or rename it back. There we go, back where we started. Okay, so that's moving files. Now we'll learn about deleting files. So this bit can be a little bit dangerous because there's no undo, no confirmation dialog to ask you if you're really sure if it's what you want to do. Other than that, it's easy to learn, and there's just a few dangerous ways you can use the rm for remove command, which I'll show you first, just to make sure you don't accidentally execute those dangerous commands while you're practicing. So first of all, never ever ever do rm rf /, because what that does is say remove rm recursively the root directory and force it. The root directory is the top tier directory. It's going to get rid of absolutely everything, or partition. It's going to get rid of absolutely everything, and for a few moments everything will look like it's okay, no serious issues, but then very quickly things will start to break down and stop working. You'll notice things on your desktop start disappearing, things will stop working, the sudo command, for example, will just stop and say it doesn't exist. And eventually you'll get to the point where your system is just completely knackered and you're not going to be able to do anything. So there is virtually no situation where you should ever type that in and execute it, unless your goal is to nuke a system. In that case, it will work just fine. And if you do that, unless you got a backup, there's no undo for it. There's no going back, do not pass go, do not collect $200. You are done, and you're just going to have to restore from a backup or start again. So now's a good time to mention backup. Every once in a while, make sure you have some backups and test them. And in a separate video, I'll describe backup techniques and ways of doing it. But at the very least, just make sure you got a copy of your most important stuff somewhere else every once in a while. But you want to have a proper backup system in place. Okay, what else is there? There is rm rf star. So this one is one that you will use occasionally, but it's going to delete everything in your current directory, wherever that is, and everything below it. So if you're in your home directory and you execute this, you will destroy your entire home directory, and that's very, very bad. So if you're ever in doubt of what directory am I in right now, you can type pwd and it will give you the full path to where you are at the moment. So it kind of says it here anyway, like the little tilde there means your home directory. I'm in a subdirectory called demo1, but just to be doubly safe, you can do pwd. So if I do ls here, and I'll show you what it looks like. If I go rm, rf, star, there's now nothing in here. abc.txt in folder 1 is gone. Yep, definitely nothing there. LA? LS. There we go. Don't know why LA worked. What is that? Okay, don't know what that was. So, you might want to do that sometimes if you actually want to get rid of everything in the folder you're in. That's okay to do, but just be sure it really, really is what you want to do. So in a separate video, I'll list a bunch of dangerous commands you should never run, but other than the two that I've just shown you, most of the other ones you're only going to come across if you're just randomly executing scripts that people tell you about on the internet, or if you're running things that you don't know what it does. You won't often accidentally type them in to execute the other ones, but these two that I've just shown you, it's possible you could do it. So if, for example, you did rm rf / but what you actually wanted to do was like that, for example. Yeah, let's do it. mkdir folder 1. So now, if I make sure it's there, rm, rf, folder 1. That's going to fail because folder 1 doesn't exist. Right? Because I did it at the root level, and unless the root has a folder called folder 1, it's not going to be a problem. But if I wanted to do that, but accidentally did that and then hit enter before I typed folder 1, then it would just be destroyed. So what I should have done, what I meant to do in this case, what am I doing? No, it's gone. So if I forgot the dot and hit the / and then didn't type folder 1, then a bad thing would happen, and we would not be able to recover from that. So how do we delete multiple files? Well, just like copy and move, we can delete multiple files. So just do a quick ls to make sure there's nothing here. Okay, so we'll echo file1 to file1.txt, and we'll echo file2 to 2.txt, file2.txt. We've got our files. So if we want to remove multiple, then I want to remove file1, and I want to remove file2. Gone. Just bring them back. And if we want to remove something that's in another directory, so if I go upper level, which got my home folder here, so I'm going to pretend that this isn't the home folder, it's somewhere else. So I'm going to type in the full path to where these files are. Demo1. Oops. Going to remove the full path to the file, sorry. Okay. Just going to echo that back into existence. And I'm not going to demonstrate this, but if you wanted to specify the full path to multiple files, you could do. So if I go there, I could, I just said I'm not going to do it, and I'm actually doing it. So whatever, I've typed it now. File2. So if I was to execute that, that would work just fine and remove them. And in the same way that you can delete files that end with an extension and start with a file, you can say star.txt, and we'll go into demo folder again, ls, nothing there. Echo those back into existence. And if you want to delete everything that starts with fi, you can do that. Nothing there. Okay, so that's it for deleting files. As you can see, very similar to the commands you'd use for, well, I suppose it's not quite the same as copy and move because you have a secondary parameter, but remove is just specify the file name if it's one file, or space separated for multiple files, or asterisk if it's I want to delete anything that starts with some characters, or a wildcard asterisk for ends with if it's star.txt or whatever extension you like. But now we need to talk about deleting directories, and this is a little bit special because if I do an ls, we've got nothing here. I'm going to create a directory called folder 1. Okay, let's clear this. So we've got folder 1 here. Now if I say rm folder 1, can't remove folder 1, it's a directory. Okay, so we've got another option for that. For removing a directory, we can do rmdir, as in remove directory, folder 1, and it's gone. Okay, so great. That's perfect. That's how you delete directories, right? Not quite, no. Let's see what happens if we actually have something in the directory. Do our ABC one. Okay, it's got ABC in it. So now we've got our folder 1 again. So I'm going to do the same thing again and see what happens. rmdir folder 1. Ooh, rmdir failed to remove folder 1. Directory is not empty. Well, that sucks because it's got stuff in it. And that'd be really inconvenient if I had to go in and delete the contents of it every single time. So there's another way. You can use rm. So if you try and delete a non-empty folder with rmdir, it's going to fail. But if you do it with rm, it's also going to fail because it's saying it's a directory. Ooh, okay, well, what do we do then? Well, that is where you can say, you know what? There we go. That's it. So you specify rm for remove and -r for recursive and f for force. So what if you want to delete the contents of a directory, but not the directory itself? So that's fairly straightforward. If we go mkdir, folder 1, and if we create a file inside of it, so we've got folder 1 there, and we want to delete the entire contents of folder 1. I feel like I should probably put a another one in there. Folder 1, folder 2. Okay, so that's in there, and I'll just put something inside folder 2 as well. def.txt. Okay. Right. So now let's try the same thing again. rm r folder 1 star. Still got our folder 1. If we cd inside of it and have a look, nothing there. But if we go up a level and take away the star, nothing. So when you put the star at the end, you're saying delete everything inside this folder. When you leave it out, it deletes the folder itself. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I have been your host, CipherSuite, and this is CipherSuite Tech. Please subscribe to the channel for more content, and make sure you give us a like and comment your favorite part down below and maybe what you want us to cover next time. All right, thanks. Bye.